Alright, this is Dr. Boff with special guest,
Forest Ekumen here.
trying some more Kerbal Space Program.
And don't forget about me. I'm Commander Globetown, and this is my favorite YouTube channel.
This YouTube channel.
Sorry, I am married to Dr. Boff here, so he takes precedence. I apologize.
That's fair. So right now we are showing off the fairy tug Lovelace, which we have just learned is actually named after a real person instead of an imaginary person. Imaginary person, because she was an AI who... Anyway.
Shout out to Becky Chambers who wrote that book. It's
yes.
great.
It
I
is
haven't
great.
read. What's it about?
AI.
Yes.
And this is the tug. At this moment, I would like to ask Dr. Boff, who is taking the steering wheel right now, to go ahead and turn on the lights action group. Alright, so here you can see the lighting groups on the fairy tug Lovelace. Red because fire is red, and then blue and green because we must differentiate between starboard and port on this ship. That's very important. And those are the Forest Ekumen's chosen colors for standard spacefaring signals. Totally legit. Alright, so the mission that we are going to do is going to be transfer from Kerbin to Laythe. The fairy tug Lovelace is going to be taking the Laythe lander, which...
Hasn't been named yet, actually. Mostly because I was fairly certain it would die in fire, but it hasn't yet, so I guess it's probably time to name it. We'll figure that out somewhere along the way. We'll try out some names as we go, see what fits.
Yeah, we've got a few years, actually.
How about you name it Ada? Lovelace's first name.
I like it. The spaceplane will be in front of the fairy tug Lovelace. As you can see, the docking port here. Nose to bow to something. It's the back part of a ship. After the ship. Anyway, so we're auto-saving. Well, we've done it now. So we are committed. This is the slightly different version of the fairy tug Lovelace than was seen in the last video, but we're gonna go ahead and try and dock this thing to the spaceplane. So I'm gonna hand back over to Dr. Boff here.
Alright, so we've got our space plane over here, which, given the sheer size of Lovelace, will be doing most of the orbital maneuvering in order to make the rendezvous happen.
Thank you.
So we don't want to make Lovelace upset. It is the first AI in space, and we've given it the largest nuclear arsenal that we possess, so best to not make it do too much work. Okay, with patience running out, we're going to make my orbit more different from Lovelace's orbit so we can catch up more quickly. So it is kind of ahead of me, so I need to change my orbit so that it takes me a little longer to do, meaning I need to speed up. So I'm going to go over to a ascending or descending node and do some speeding up. Yeah, so we will be using these engines back here, the little orbital deorbiter stage engines, to do some orbital maneuvering until we actually complete the docking, because we will be able to top those up once we arrive at Lovelace. I'm told there is a metric ton of fucking fuel aboard Lovelace, so we should be alright.
Yes.
Strictly speaking, a metric ton of fucking fuel is about, 100 tons of fuel.
Not just a lot of fuel. You actually had to give it a numeric value.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Metric ton of fucking fuel.
it's Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah.
All right, plan B, which is less efficient, is just to point at the target and fire some engines, and then alternate between firing at the target and firing retrograde relative to target. Super inefficient way of doing that. Oh, I was trying to aim my retrograde to the target vector.
Not the
That's how
target.
bad my timing was. Okay, I was trying to chase retrograde towards target vector, thus guaranteeing that I ran away from the target. Not ideal. All right, we have visual confirmation of some sort of massive nuclear-armed robot. We are going to be heading towards it and hoping it's friendly.
Why?
Vaguely impossible to see what's about to happen. Because nighttime.
So I definitely, put the lights on the parts that I thought were important, but turns out it really needed one on the nose.
Alright, here we are. Moment of truth. How's this gonna go? I cannot see anything. We're approaching at a safe speed.
Yep.
No idea. Oh, no.
Is that angle right?
Correct. Angle's wrong. Everybody panic.
Oh dear.
We bumped slightly. Nobody panic.
Your Kerbals look fine, bro.
They do
Just saying.
look okay.
Kerbals are fine. Kerbals are not panicked.
I think more panicking are Dr. Boff and Forest Ekumen.
That took, you probably won't see all of it.
Oh my
that
God.
may have taken us 2 hours.
Yep.
Holy shit, was that a pain. The targeting on the docking would not target correctly.
Oh my God.
So, no matter how many times we set docking ports to target, Lovelace kept pointing its cockpit at the target, and the spaceplane was more too happy to just do the same thing, so they kept trying to dock nose to docking port, which isn't going to work. We had to do that manually, meaning we had to wait till it was daytime, fiddle around like crazy. I had to control from the cockpit of the plane, which means my controls were inverted, but in a way that I could kind of process in my brain, which I couldn't process when I was controlling from the docking port, and they were inverted in a more different way.
And then setting anti-target rather than
And
target.
then I had to remember to set to anti-target instead of target, which I forgot like 3 separate times, so we had to start over. But it's finally done.
my God, the
Oh my
monstrosity.
God. Okay, when we come back off Laythe, the plane is getting nearby and the Kerbals are EVAing over, and the plane is getting left in Laythe orbit. It knows what it did, and it's getting left there. But in the meantime, we finally have this docked.
Wow. And hopefully we have enough monorail left because we decided to spend just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But mostly time.
Yeah,
We
mostly
ran out
it's
of beer.
it's
It took
time.
so long.
We did
We
run
did
out
run
of beer.
out of
It took so
beer.
long. We are bingo on beer.
All right, putting that in the past, because that's in the past now.
It is.
We need to go to Jewel, specifically to Laythe. So let's first of all get out of Kerbin and figure that out.
We need to. All right, so we are going to be moving on towards Jewel. Let's get our crew situated first and moving on to the Lovelace into slightly more comfortable environs. We've got a few places for them to go on the Lovelace. Those include a recreation center, also known as a science lab. They also have 2 cupola modules. We've got a crew cabin. We've got another similar cockpit. And then if they want to roleplay PB, we've got some escape pods that they can hang out in.
Seriously?
Seriously.
PB.
So let's go ahead and transfer them over. Alright, and the whole point of this, the Lovelace, was for the AI to take over, so we're going to go ahead and... she's not asleep right now, she's been awake this entire time. She's been helping us do this, but we'll go ahead and control from there. All right.
I love that you can tell, but there's no like obvious like human signs of the feminine.
Yeah, we got some different haircuts of the male and female Kerbals.
Yeah.
So
Appreciate how subtle differentiation is, and yet
It
it's
is
still obvious.
really subtle.
So we have got to change this staging. I'm a little bit worried about our burn time. We are running on nuke engines, so let's go ahead and shift all these up. We need to redo staging so that we ensure that we don't jettison everything that we just worked for. All right, we are good to go ahead and begin our burn. Let's power up the nuke engines. More power!
Truly a sight to behold, I think.
What, James May or this?
This, I think, this light show. Some say the xenon is being thrown out of the back just for special effects, but
And what do others say?
Ekumen insists it's for propulsion.
Yes, it is for propulsion of one's emotions, specifically. Specifically, we're calling a Star Destroyer.
All we know is, here's a Stig!
Okay.
So we're quickly going to run out of battery, in which case Krisner and Judorf are going to have to power down Netflix. But fortunately, the Xenon ion engines will also cut out, and as Dr. Buff and I were just discussing, it would be problematic if, suddenly the starboard side engines all of a sudden cut out. But thankfully, very, very little propulsion. Again, just emotional propulsion. So we will see that coming up just right about
Wait
In like
for
10
it.
seconds.
in more like 5.
Any day
And there we
now.
go. There
Um,
one just winked out.
Half of them just winked out, and not symmetrically. So,
Nope.
there's that.
But also notice the very much lack of caring on Lovelace's part. She just does not give a fuck. Also, preferentially, she is keeping the lights on, because that is by far cooler. Hopefully not shutting down the radiators, but none of them are glowing hideously red, so I think we probably put up enough radiators.
Hey, we have enough solar panels to maintain electric charge while firing the engines in full sunlight.
That is super impressive, considering how many engines there are on the ship. That may change as we get closer to Jewel, unfortunately, because we'll be further from the sun.